Hello and welcome. My name is Kyle, and today we're going to be taking a look at how I edited this raw image. And this is the original, straight out of the camera, and we have it open in Camera Raw in Photoshop 5. And first of all, I hit this little button down here. It opens your workflow options, and a little neat trick: click this button, open in Photoshop as a smart object, hit OK, and then hit OK. And that way it'll open it up right here as a smart object. And if you need to change it now, you can just double click it and open Camera Raw again. And you can't do that if you just open it normal. And then you can make your changes and hit OK, and it'll save it. So I did that so you can see the original and we can compare it. I like the before and after. And then I just do a little right click and I did a new smart object via copy. And that gave me this one. So then I open up the copy in Camera Raw. If you just do Command J to copy the layer, it'll actually, if you change this one, it'll change the original as well. So that's why you have to right click it, do it that way. So first of all, in Camera Raw, I just did some basic changes. I started out with auto, and then I did some adjustments to exposure, a little bit more contrast, knocked down the clarity a tiny bit just to give it that softer feel. I also sharpened it a little bit more. It started out 25, I went up to 75, lowered the radius a little bit, and I also put in a little bit of luminance just because I wanted it softer. She is a girl, softer image, so just a little bit of luminance to soften the skin. And that's about all I did in Camera Raw to start out with. So I hit OK, I have my picture right here, and there you go. So there's the first step, and after that, I merged these two layers into a new layer. The shortcut for that is Shift Control Alt E or Shift Command Alt E if you're on a Mac, and that'll just give you your new layer. And the first thing I saw when I looked at this image, I said, it's just really pretty, and I think I just want a clean, nice beauty shot. So I'm going to get rid of the blemishes. I know some people think that's terrible, you can't alter the image, whatever. We're going for a nice clean look. So the first thing I did was I got the spot heal brush and I went around and I edited the layer, this new layer, and I went around and got rid of all these blemishes. The nose was a little red, and for a beauty shot, this nose ring wasn't doing it for me, so I axed the nose ring as well. And I cleared up the eyebrows a little bit. There got a little hair on them, so I also cleared up some of the veins in the eyes, the eyelash that was sticking in the eye, just little things, the mascara over here. And I also got rid of this neck thing because that was drawing my attention away from the face and it was kind of distracting, so I got rid of that as well. So here we'll take a look, and that is the after all of that work. There's the before, there's the after. We'll zoom out a little. You can see the neck, so there's before, and there's after I got rid of everything. So I just cleaned it up nice. It's looking better now. And then I started brightening the face. I thought, what can we do to make this image pop? So the first thing I did was add some lip gloss. You can do this with an adjustment layer and just mask it, and then change the adjustment layer to screen, and then you can just paint over the lips. And I lowered the opacity. 100% is a little strong, as you can see, so I went down to 25%. I also wanted to do the irises in much the same way, an adjustment layer, and it is a selective color adjustment layer. I got just the irises, and a neat trick here, I actually painted over the irises with Quick Mask. And if you double click on Quick Mask, its default is the color indicates masked areas, and that will actually select what you didn't draw, which is kind of backwards. So if you change it to selected areas, it will actually select what you did draw. So now if you get a paintbrush, you can draw in black. Here's a selection. There you go. And then if you draw in white, it'll actually erase that selection, so you can get rid of that. And then the neat thing, as soon as you exit Quick Mask, you have a selection. And so now you can click on whatever adjustment layer you'd like, which I did selective color for the irises. I painted around them, did selective color, and then you have a nice selection. So that's how you can use Quick Mask to select things. So for the iris pop, it's at 25% as well. If you're at 100%, looks kind of nifty, but a little strong for what we're going for. So I went down to 25%, and so there is the before, after. So just a little kick to the eyes. We'll zoom in so you can see it a little better. Before, after. And I also added some eye kickers, just some little white melons at the bottom of the eyes, and just to give a little pop to the eyes. So there's that. So let's take a look at that first round of editing all together. So just the lips and the eyes, just kind of made those pop, and things are looking pretty good. So as I move on, I wanted to brighten the teeth a little bit. She has great teeth, no yellow or anything, so I just wanted to brighten them just a little bit since they're kind of dark in there. Again, adjustment layers are your friends, so I brightened the teeth with an adjustment layer. I also brightened the eyes with an adjustment layer, and I just did the whites of the eyes just a tiny bit. You can tell it's only at 12%. Go all the way up to 100%. Yeah, it's kind of bright. I'm also on screen again, screen mode for the layer, and so 12% hit it just about right, just a tiny bit of brightness to the eyes. And then I worked on curves. So first of all, I hit auto, and then I just made the tiniest S curve. It is an S curve. It kind of looks like a straight line, but it is an S curve. So I think this makes a big difference. There it is with curves. It makes it a lot warmer, adds some contrast. I like it. So you can see the difference the S curve makes if I hit auto here. That's what it does without the S curve. We'll go back to the S curve. There it is with the S curve. So without, with. So I like the S curve. It adds that contrast. Even though it does look like a straight line, it's a tiny little S curve. So that's that. Next I moved on to some dodge and burn. You can see here the eyebrows got darker here with some dodge or burn. And then here I just did some hair and a little on the face, a little on the neck. Just kind of add some contrast and highlight what I wanted to in the hair. So just a little bit of that. And then right there I was really satisfied with the image. I was happy how it turned out. It's really pretty, but there's a lot of great images on the forum, so I wanted to really make mine stand out, so I decided to change the background. I mean, it's just really blurry. It's not really adding much to the picture, so I decided to make my own. Now, of course, if you're going to make your own layer, you need the girl on her own layer. So I started out by selecting her, and I just did that with the magic wand tool. Went around, did all that, selected her, and of course always hit refine edge on this tool. It does wonders. Even though it doesn't look like it did anything, just clicking that refine edge actually does quite a bit. And it's nice after you make the selection, you have your selection there, you just are going to hit the add layer mask. So when you do that, it's actually going to put her, as we can see right here, on her own little layer, and she's going to be in a layer mask. And the nice thing about this is you can click on the layer mask and you can actually refine the edge. So when you refine the edge, that's not the edge, we're going to get rid of that. So we're going to click on her layer mask, refine the edge, and now you can go along and refine the edge. You can paint in with the white, for along the hair. If you need more, you can paint along with the black because it's a layer mask to get rid of some of the hair. You can go in, and Photoshop's neat because if you just right click and hit refine layer, you can actually just paint over a part and say, hey Photoshop, you need to look at that edge and refine it, and it'll do that. So you can do that on a couple parts, and then you can get nitty gritty with the brush, and you have to actually be out of the refine mask. So when you're in refine mask, you can just paint over some edges, say, hey Photoshop, you didn't do a great job, look at this part, try again, and it will. And a lot of times it really does wonders. So you can, already did that, you can hit cancel, and then if you're just on the layer mask, you can go into the brush and just paint it in with black or white and kind of try to find out what you missed. And then if you hit Alt and then click on the layer mask, you'll see what you have selected and what you don't. So, and then Alt click brings you back. So I got her on her own separate layer, and then what I did was I got a layer and then a new fill layer as a solid color. And so when I did that, it's right here. And actually it looked like this when I first did it, because it was just a new solid layer. I picked that color and it put it behind her. So actually, if you just do a new layer, it'll actually put it above her. Make sure you drag it down and put it behind her. So now that looks pretty good, but the color's a little flat, so a nifty trick is if you go to color, it'll actually just take the color and lay it over the background that you have behind the girl. And I didn't want just the background behind the girl, because again, that looks really weird and kind of ugly. So instead of that, I actually duplicated, the picture, and you can see here I actually painted that background gray, and it was just with 50% opacity, so it actually has some texture still left, and it has some of the background still left, but it's mostly just gray. And now when I add the color, it has a little more dimension, And if we switch just to normal mode, you can see it's just very flat and kind of ugly. But if we switch to color now, it kind of has some texture, some dimension, and I like how it turned out. So painted over that layer in gray. And now I also wanted to draw more attention to the model, so I added a spotlight just like that with the marquee tool. You can do that really easily. You can hold down shift, it'll make a perfect circle. If you don't want a perfect circle, don't hold down shift. And then you can make your marquee. You can use the elliptical, of course, or you can use a square if you want a square spotlight. And all you're going to do is you're going to make a new layer here. So if we get on the picture, and then you want a new brightness contrast, or a new levels curve, I'm sorry, a new levels layer. And then right here, this middle slider is going to control your marquee. So of course we want it white, and I forgot to feather it, but while you still have it selected, you want to go into filter, or select, modify, and you want to feather that edge. So you could do around 250, and that wasn't enough actually, so I wanted to do it some more. Oh, select again, modify, feather, and another 150 should do it. And so now, once you make your new layer, let's see here. Now you grab this middle slider, and you can see it's nice and feathered. It's actually really feathered, really soft. So you don't have to feather. You can feather as much as you want. And so that's how I did that behind her. And so it's right here. And so if you have it on top of her, of course you don't want it on top. You want it beneath her, but above the adjustment, above the fill color that you just put in. And then I just went to work a little bit on her hair some more. I did some more contrast on her hair. I did some more dodge and burn. I did a little bit of brightness, contrast, and then the final image. Oh, and then this was a neat trick. She didn't really match the pink, the skin tone. She's a little light. So what you can do is you can just copy that fill layer, and then you can put it on top of her just at 5%, 10%, 3%. It just adds a slight pink cast to her skin, just so she kind of blends in with the pink, matches a little bit more. I don't know, I like it. 5% doesn't do much. And then you can see here I was just messing with the spotlight. I wasn't sure if I wanted it at 100% or 75%. And the great thing about adjustment layers is you can always decrease or increase the opacity on any of these adjustment layers. So if you think it's too strong, lower the opacity. And so I liked how it looked with 75%. And I added a little more dodge and burn to the neck area, and that was it. And so we'll take a look here at the before and after. So if we hold down Alt and click on the original, there's the original. Click again, there's the finished product. And then original, finished product. You can see it a little better since the original is a little blown out if we look at the one I adjusted in Camera Raw, and then the final image. So those are all the steps I took. I'm pretty satisfied with how it turned out. I could have spent a lot more time on the selection, but I did a pretty good job without spending hours and hours on it. So good to go, and we'll see you guys next time.